Welcome to Nerevarine Prophecies, a TES3MP server on the 0.7 alpha of the Open Morrowind engine. This is a new and experimental series aimed at explaining the features added on the Nerevarine Prophecies server. This first video will not only cover most of the features added at the time of this recording, but also as a starting point for new players to the server. First, let's talk about what this server aims to achieve. As a basis, this server is aimed to keep the vanilla Morrowind experience intact, while adding a new layer of content and balance into Bethesda's original formula. We may deem it necessary to fix certain exploits to make the game more enjoyable in a multiplayer environment, but we do want to keep a certain amount of exploitable mechanics of the game available to capture the magic of Morrowind. Now that we know what this server aims to accomplish, let's talk about getting started. Before booting up your character, we recommend that you join our Discord server, as it is our primary way of communicating with our players. This has a ton of information that you may find helpful as you play. It is also the gateway to the community that we have built up. Playing TES3MP is meant to be played with other people, so don't hesitate to put yourself out there. The first thing you may notice when you step into the server is that we retain the vanilla character generation process to give a nostalgic feeling when you're dropped off in Saint Denis. The next major difference is that waiting and resting in the wild are not allowed. Instead, players will start out with a bedroll in their inventories. Drop this item from your inventory onto the ground to place the bedroll. Crouch and activate the bedroll to pick it back up. If you misplace or lose this bedroll, another may be crafted via a simple recipe. Merely obtain the listed items and select the item via the Dash Craft screen. Players can still use regular beds in the game world to rest. The reason this was implemented was to prevent players from easily replenishing their resources without any drawbacks. Players will also experience a gold loss if they die to anything other than a player. This adds a risky option to just carrying around hundreds of thousands of gold. If you need to progress time via a wait quest, type -wait in order to prompt a scripted time saver for certain quest lines. This won't work for all, but most quests will work just fine. One more thing to keep in mind is that currently the DLC areas via Blood Moon and Tribunal are inaccessible due to bugs that cause extreme pressure on the server. Until we can resolve the main bugs that appear in the base game, the DLC areas will have to wait. If you experience a problem with something, try consulting the Quick Fixes section located under Dash Help, Character, and Quick Fixes. This server also has a lot of anti-cheat detection and policies. We have no toleration for exploits that harm another's experience on this server. This can include cheat engine type software to hack in certain items or gear. You will be IP banned without a warning and blacklisted from ever playing on this server again. Any other offenses will be listed and perhaps given warning to cease certain actions. Do not hinder the other player's ability to either A, play the game, or B, complete quest lines. Note that there are certain quest lines that conflict with each other and require a certain NPC to be killed. These NPCs will always be killable due to this fact, and are the exception to the rule. We will talk more in depth about the NPC karma and jail system Nerevarine Prophecies has in place to prevent griefing. And a good rule of thumb, don't be a jerk. Next up is the list of new features added to the Nerevarine Prophecies server. First off, a general dash help command for nearly all other commands and actions you can take in-game. If you need to know more about what certain functions do, you can head to the help menu section of the Discord channel, or merely use the player tips, command help, or the known bugs sections of the help menu. A big update we introduced something called player points. These are time accumulated points that are used via the -pp command. You can use these points to invest in in-game buffs that grant bonuses to different stats, such as derived attributes like health, magicka, or stamina, primary attributes like strength, agility, or intelligence. There are many more for you to discover. These perk points may be refunded via a rare custom item called the Rose of Renewal. Something that is intertwined with the perks and levels are the attribute and skill caps. Every 10 levels, the maximum cap will increase, allowing you to fortify your stats much more. The perks via the -PP section can also be used to increase these caps. Not all of these caps are the same, so experiment with this feature to maximize your effectiveness in Vardenfell. Earlier on, I mentioned a karma and jail system. While adventuring throughout Vardenfell, you may encounter all kinds of different players, some good and some bad. In Nerevarine Prophecies, we have a system for players to pass judgment on the actions they perform. If you'd like to thank someone for a kind deed, simply type -good karma and the player identification number next to their name. If you notice someone doing foul deeds and you'd like to enact some vengeful karma, type -bad karma and their identification number, same as before. You can only enact one -karma command every hour to prevent spamming. Players that have enough good karma will have their names appear in green to signify that they are friendly. Players that appear in red signify that they are generally best avoided. Note that bad karma players cannot use the -warp feature, which we will cover shortly. The jail system is when a player acts in a way that endangers others' play in a direct or indirect way. If a player attacks or kills a flagged protected NPC, the player will be immediately transported to a dungeon located near Saran, without the ability to escape. They will be confined there until their time is up. They will also suffer a bad karma penalty upon the action. As a rule of thumb, do not attack or kill an NPC that could bear any usefulness, be it a merchant or quest NPC. The -warp feature is a fast travel system similar to newer Elder Scrolls games. Once you've visited certain locations, you can now choose to warp to them at any time as long as you are not engaged in -PvP or have bad karma. Simply type -warp, then the location you'd like to travel to, without spaces or punctuation. Titles are an achievement type feature that allow you as a player to strive towards completing certain objectives to show off to other players. Type -title to see a list of your unlocked titles, after which you can type -title, then the title name to set it. You can also hide your title by typing -title and hide. Although crafting is still in its infancy, we still have a handful of items you can make via the -craft command. We are planning on releasing overhauled crafting professions via future updates, so stay tuned for that. Here on the Nerevarine Prophecies server, we also have a personal bank you can store your items inside. We have it located at Balmora's town center. Simply drag and drop your items to save them for later. If you want to use your portable bank, type -bank in order to access the bank via a 1,000 gold fee. If you do not have the 1,000 gold, it will reject your command. Nerevarine Prophecies also has a party system that can be used to group with other players to achieve a goal. Type -party, then click Create Party, after which name the party whatever you'd like, and invite or decline players that want to join. If a player wants to use the -roll feature, it is a small command that will roll a number randomly so players can choose who gets certain loot. Also related to the party's function is the guild function. Players can form in-game guilds that have different ranks that the guild leader can bestow. Simply type -guild and follow the menu to create your own custom raiding group. For other late game activities, players can obtain housing. This is available via the -house command. List all houses, list the availability of the houses so you can purchase one that isn't owned. Once you've purchased a house, you need to edit the house settings. In this menu, select Owned Houses and select your house that you purchased. Note, due to a massive influx of players, inactive player homes will be sold, and players cannot own more than one house. You can add co-owners to the house to allow them entry and permission to take items from the house. Locking the house causes any player that attempts to enter to be instantly refused entry. If you unlock the house, be forewarned that there are thieves in this world and can take your valuables, so put your trust in others wisely. After you have bought the house, the items that you place inside may be owned by the NPC that previously owned it. Therefore, be careful when taking items you place in containers, as when you get caught with the law, they may confiscate your goods. You can also buy furnishing items such as containers, walls, decor, etc. via the -decorate command. If you buy the item, you can also select it via the menu, and can manually move the item to the exact point you want it. This can also be done to any item you pick up. Simply drop an item in the house and type -decorate. It will automatically select the last item you dropped. If someone is harassing you, or you don't like to hear certain things being said, you can ignore a chat box or just an individual person. Type -ignore, then the identification number next to their name. Certain unique merchants have had a small change made to their inventory barter screen. Once you sell an item and exit dialogue, their merchant gold will reset back to its original value, allowing for a convenience for selling a lot of expensive items at once. Player versus player content is a choice feature for any player. If they so choose, they can type -PvP in order to enable a flag on their character. If the flagged player kills another player without them also being flagged for PvP, then the opposing player will be warned and punished if they continue to grief other players. PvP flagged players cannot use the -warp feature in order to escape combat. Also, if a player kills someone without the -PvP flag, it will be automatically enabled. The -PvP command has a cooldown so players cannot grief others by disabling -PvP to get the other person punished. If a player is not within the same level range as you, you will not gain an honorable kill. You can keep track of how many honorable kills you make via the -help menu. There are many more features I will quickly mention, like -list, a list of players currently online, -who, a list of detailed descriptions of players, -inspect, inspecting the player's specific stats to compare, -where, a list of players' locations, -t, a private messaging system for players. Any recipient can type -r to respond to that player. -me and -mel are emote commands. -gt changes the color of the message you type into green. -fixme for an easy fix to being stuck in an outdoor setting. -suicide for players with no other options. -write for unique custom notes that are created using a piece of paper. -clear to clear your chat box. -book to create your very own book. -market to create a market inside a house that you own to make it impossible for others to take your item. And much more custom content. So, after all that explaining, hopefully we have made our intentions clear about keeping this server relevant and active. If you enjoy playing on Nerevarine Prophecies, consider becoming a patron via Patreon. This keeps the server up and running via the server maintenance costs.
So stand up, stop dreaming, and praise St. Gia.